Collective. Hey, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. Happy Saturday morning. I hope your morning is off to a great start. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at our health, our well-being, mind, body, soul via the tarot, astrology, any channeled messages, and some Ayurvedic holistic wellness. So let's get into it. It's been a really interesting week. I'm going to take a few sips of coffee. I'm running behind this morning. I apologize. My son came down just as I was about to start. We said a little good morning to one another. So it's been a really interesting week. We're in Aries season right now. We're coming from Pisces season. There's like water and fire element playing off of each other. And essentially that just can be heightened emotion, tension, aggression, feeling, maybe being overly critical on self. That can also manifest against self, not just what we're dealing with in our environment, but also how it's playing out with our self talk, what we think, what we feel, what we believe about who we are. Ayurveda is a huge proponent that thoughts are things. They do manifest into physical ailments. And because essentially it's telling our brain what chemicals to secrete. And so when we're kind of in more of a depressive, negative state, it's going to shut things down because the best medicine really is rest, restoration, healing the body, allowing things to process that might be lodged within our being. In any of those spaces, usually it settles in our joints and then manifests from there. But there's all different places we can store. And usually we store in those spaces that we're predisposed to certain weaknesses, to certain ailments. Healing wellness in modern day can be a journey, right? Not to be a cheese ball. I hate the cliche words. I do use them because they serve their purpose, right? But it is really true. Like we're ever changing, ever evolving. And so we need to be able to be flexible, be able to acclimate according to what our mind, body, soul is requiring of us. And yeah, sometimes our body might not be doing things that we want it to do, or our mind might not be doing things, or we're not like our emotions aren't staying in check, or whatever it may be. But that's also the time that we need to give ourselves love, that we need to give ourselves grace, understanding for where we're at, acceptance of where we're at, and then meeting ourselves in that space. And that can be really hard to do, especially when we have certain ideas, certain goals, how we want things to look, etc. I can totally resonate with that. But that's also why I like to do these readings, just to kind of look at where the energy is around our health, our well being, how we can navigate the different twists and turns, and then come back to self, because that's really the most important connection that we hold. I talk about this a lot. Ayurveda has a great phrase, pragya aparad, which means the disconnection from self. And it is the mistake of the intellect. Or, sorry, it translates as the mistake of the intellect, which is disconnection from self. Because when we know ourselves, we can be in alignment. All of our systems are flowing harmoniously, mind, body, soul. And that's really where we hit our stride. That's where we find our happiness, our success, our fulfillment, because we're so in alignment, and then like the outside stuff don't really affect us in the same way. Or we can have more empathy, more understanding for where people's situations are at, but we also don't have to engage in that energy, right? So all that to say, let's start off with an energy cleansing just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. Cleanse out those places you might feel blocked, stuck, limited. It's a good time to set your own intention as well, especially if you have come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like spirit to deliver messages to you around. definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. Spirit is always looking to speak to us. We just have to ask and be open to receive, right? I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing, wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you're interested in that rebalancing of self, alignment of your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Like I was saying, when we're grounded, aligned in self, that's really where we're maximizing our potential, finding our happiness, our fulfillment. We're able to manifest in a really powerful and fluid way. And I would love to help support that for you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. My website is up and coming. Not yet, apparently. I have like a laundry list of things to do. Like, I swear to God, everything just fell on my plate at once. So I have a laundry list of things to do, but hopefully by end of April, that's the new goal I'm giving myself. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama. All right. So I am picking up this energy. I'm going to pull up an astrology chart. I am picking up this energy of like you feel pretty good. I think you're hopeful. I think there is a sense of defeat or maybe just like heaviness from where you've come from. Things that you've been dealing with that you feel like are kind of weighing you down, or they are weighing you down, right? Like you're kind of at this point where I feel like you have a lot of strength, a lot of tenacity, you're overcoming big obstacles, etc. But at the same time, there might be a little bit of disconnect from seeing the value, seeing the benefit, and feeling tired. Like it's more of a, you know it in your mind, but not so much in your heart type energy. And it's not bad. I'm hearing like movement. As I was preparing for this reading, I was just reminded how much movement really honors our body. And I'm not talking about like go work out, go lift some weights. If that's your vibe, 100%, right? But I'm talking about things that actually nurture the body, that allow us to release those things that we shove down deep. That's why I love yoga. I mean, I'm a huge proponent. I know it's not everybody's vibe. What I like about it is that it's using your own body to strengthen, to support. It's also stretching, it's activating, it's harmonizing. Union translate or yoga translates to union. So we're unifying those right and left hemispheres. That's my little tangent on why I think yoga is fabulous. But I just was reminded at like how easy it can to get out of our habit, get out of our routine, stop doing something for a while. Movement is so important because it does kind of break up some stagnant energy and it does help us release and let go, which I feel like is a space that you're really working on. That feels like that's a theme that's been coming up in our readings. Getting stronger, being able to overcome some of those obstacles that have been lingering around for quite some time. I love this. You're building roots. Yeah, like you're rooting down into your life. I think that like some of the exhaustion or heaviness that you might be walking into this week with It's valid, it's legit, but it's also ending. Like, I feel like this is more after you make it through something and you finally can just breathe that sigh of relief. Like, I actually did it. I actually got through this. And in a way that you are like, I know this is so cliche, but I'm hearing like coming out on top. I'm also like noticing these mushrooms, which mushrooms can be very medicinal, but they can also be very toxic. And actually, Ayurveda is not a huge proponent of mushrooms because they're considered tamasic, which is like a debilitating energy. Like, it's this energy of slow, old, worn out, like it kind of brings your energy down. And if you're someone who's like super active and all up here, maybe those are good for you. But in small quantities is always kind of how Ayurveda looks at it. And why I'm saying all of this, because it does feel like you've had to work really hard through some toxicity. I feel like you've also had to protect something that's really important to you, and this might even be yourself. And so, like, where you're seeing yourself at present day, even if your body's not how you want it to look, or your physical wellness is not what you want it to look like, it doesn't mean it's not there. I mean, number one, I'm hearing it's within you, and it's also going to come out at the right time. I think that you've been uprooting a lot of old patterns. They can even be ancestral patterns with those skulls in the corner. Generational patterns is what I mean from that. Like, things that we carry from our parents, our grandparents, things that get passed down. And honestly, when I was talking about weaknesses within our physiology, our mind, body, soul, those are generational. We do inherit, yes, there can be environmental factors, but anytime we are healing, dealing with healing, like, it's clearing out old karma, whether you see it, your health and wellness, as that or not. I was thinking today about how Saturn is the planet of it is a beneficial planet for our health, because it forces us to look at those weaker places and strengthen them, or find the necessary support that we need to surround that weakened area so it can be strengthened in and of itself. Okay, so we're getting the B. I love this. My name actually means bee. So I'm always like, ooh. But this is that value. Okay, so community, cooperation, sweetness, maybe needing to invite that into your life a little bit more. Things that are not heavy. This is stuff that's easygoing, because even though this is signaling that you've done a lot, you're doing a lot, you have a lot going for you, a lot working for you, there's still a lot that you're uprooting. There's still a lot that you're uncovering that can feel heavy, messy. And sometimes those paths of healing are day by day, moment by moment, hour by hour. It's one time, minute you can be okay, you can be good, and then the next minute something gets triggered, or something happens, or someone does something, or you know what I mean? And there's a lot to keep tabs on. Not in the way to make yourself crazy, because I feel like, if anything, what spirit is really talking about is bringing a little bit more happiness and peace into your life. As in, maybe you can just leave some of the hard work on the sidelines. You don't have to conquer it in one day. Um, Space it out, be a little bit more gentle, be a little bit more balanced in your daily activities. And again, Ayurveda is huge into this. Daily routine is one of their claims to fame. And I'll say it's like life changing. It's bizarre, not that I would characterize myself as someone who had bad routine prior to diving deeper into Ayurveda, but the way that when we're systemizing our body, it helps it function in optimal ways. And then we can kind of focus on other things because we already have that framework set up. And we're still getting this cup of tea. I feel like this either comes out for us pretty much every week or close to. It's patience, it's reassessment, being patient with yourself, being patient with others as well, patient with timing, with the process. I feel like this is also about stabilizing your nervous system, not being so wound up or so fried, with some of this stuff that you have been navigating. Because that's also another component is the body does keep the score. It's an amazing book, especially if you've been through trauma, um, toxic relationships, lots of dysfunction. It really kind of just shows what the brain does, how it secretes, how the chemicals it secretes, how it affects our physiology, and how those things can resurface when we're not even anticipating, expecting. And that's where I feel like that patience is coming into play for you. This feels like a very meditative energy. So making sure that you're spending quiet time for yourself, with yourself, that ability to process because you're continuing to strengthen. I love that this pine comes out because all the things that you are doing are catering to vitality, longevity, perseverance. It is taking perseverance. And that's some of the heaviness that I feel like. Here's the thing, I'm hearing it as like you're not rejecting it any longer. Maybe in ways before that you were kind of resisting doing some certain things, or like whether that was just getting on a good eating routine, good exercise routine, making sure that you're carving out quiet time for yourself or self-love, self-care, whatever that looks like. And it's like you're at a point where inside it's you don't feel forced, but you want to do it. Like you finally kind of changed in this way of like, this stuff is no longer working and it's more beneficial for me to plug into whatever this is that you are strengthening within self, because it is healing a lot. I think that's a bystander right now. It's healing a lot, but it's also and it's opening you up to new life, and new life I feel like it's really positive and really good, and like whatever kind of your end goals are in sight, you're on that path, you're on that trajectory. It does look like spirit is calling you towards more support, so bringing a little bit of that, like you don't have to do it all alone. If you are doing things alone, or if you don't have if you don't have like a lot of people around you to encourage you, etc., maybe you're just kind of left to your own devices. But one thing I was really reminded of when I went through a period in my life where like everyone said F you, no, or just people didn't want to support me in whatever way. And what I was reminded of was just like how many groups there are out there that can actually bring in the support we need. And there's so many different varieties. Definitely like check with your local community, Facebook, Meetup, whatever, right? There's a lot of different resources where we can find people that actually will support us. And sometimes it's so hard to shift that because when we're rejected or when people don't know how to support or they just choose not to, that in and of itself can feel like it's something with you or like you did something wrong or whatever. And, you know, it's not your fault if people are on the defensive, right? And part of what you're growing through, what you're healing through, is finding that support in yourself, which you're definitely doing. You're definitely strengthening. Be proud of the work that you've done to date because it is funneling into a really beautiful energy. But maybe it is time to let people in, or that's what this is saying. There might be a little bit of fear around that. And I feel like some of this is past messages that you've internalized that aren't really yours to internalize. So that's part of the hesitancy as well. self-protection energy, Four of Pentacles coming out. But that's also in your environment. And honestly, that might have just been people or dynamics that you were dealing with. Like when you've tried to put yourself out there, when you've tried to kind of you know, be a little bit more invested, like finding that support, right? Finding those connections, finding those people that want to work together in community. It's been shut down, with this Four of Pentacles. This is someone who's like, so it's kind of forced you to be a little bit strict with this Emperor coming out. I don't know. Like, I feel like this is strict about your own boundaries. This is strict about your own energy. Like, as if something is not going to help you out, then, I feel like there still might be some fixation on whatever this is, or an internalization that this is how all people operate. This is what all support systems look like. Even if you are like in some, I mean, I've been in health and wellness pretty much my whole career, and it's wild how many people that are in health and wellness that really don't promote health and wellness. That there's actually a lot of isolation, you know, clicky mentality, people ostracizing other people, gossip, smear campaigns, and none of that is like healthy. I mean, and I don't think Ayurveda is the only wellness regime protocol that encourages also like us to look at how we behave, how we act, not only towards ourselves but to other people as well. They're called behavioral rasanas in Ayurveda, and it's essentially like a moral code for living. And that is what health and wellness is about, because being healthy means life giving. They are things that give us life, that give us strength, that give us vitality. And when we're not receiving that from the people in our environment, or, even if you're trying to get better, going to a PT place or something like that, and then they just like do a shitty job. That can be counterintuitive, right? Maybe it's about like finding another place to do physical therapy, opening up other options is basically what I'm getting at. Just because it says it's for health and wellness purposes doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you're going to get, unfortunately. But I feel like that really ties back into this notion of like making choices that actually do align with you, right? Like what is authentically meant for you. And those situations that we get ourselves into where like someone's trying to pull one over or doesn't really care, isn't giving us honor, value, respect, etc. That's the telltale sign that that's something about them and something they need to get worked out within themselves. And you don't necessarily have to stick around to figure out whether they're going to or not. And why I'm getting into this, or why I feel like the reading is going in this way, is because I feel like that's where this Emperor energy has come out within you, because you've had to be strict about who and what that is, who and what you're going to let into your energy. I feel like you're a lot more scrutinizing about people around you. I'm seeing this sun in the background. And the Emperor is Aries. It's fire season, right? We're in Aries fire season. So I'm feeling like this is yes, not only the reflection of what you've been through, what you've had to do, maybe even in places that you didn't choose it, that it was maybe forced on you because of whatever was in your environment. And now you're doing something about it. But it is time to open up. It is time to expand, to find new options, especially when you're seeing a lot of closed doors around you. And again, this can even just be something that maybe you used to love to go to that physical therapy place, and maybe it's changed. Maybe it's changed ownership. Maybe your favorite person's gone, whatever that might be, right? And it's not to like be disloyal or to not commit or whatever. It's just recognizing that sometimes things serve their purpose for a period of time. We learn the lesson, gain the wisdom, and then use it to move forward. And so there might be a little bit of stuckness. I think that's not a word, but you might be feeling a little bit stuck right now. And again, this is because of who and what you're dealing with. There's resistance or wanting some level of autonomy, and maybe you're wanting partnership. Again, more confirmation on how you need to position yourself so that you are actually interacting and engaging with people that do want to engage in relationship with you, in whatever that is, right? Whatever that means for your health and wellness, because it is showing, and being patient with this process. I think that that's where this cup of tea is coming into play. I'm not saying you have to like make it your job to meet new people, you know, or whatever, like, or find that physical therapy place that is awesome, on point. You don't have to make it your job, but putting intention towards it every day, because there might be a little bit of, it's not like you're not losing time, but you might eventually feel that way because of whatever this resistance is coming your way. It's like, and I think this came up in our midweek reading. It's like an energy that you can't tap into, or an energy that's purposefully either being withheld or standing back from you. And that's the intention, whether or not you have interaction, because I'm hearing like sometimes you might even interact, which gives it an essence of hope, or, oh, maybe I was wrong, like discounting yourself, gaslighting yourself, etc. But I feel like as you, I think that more is also naturally coming in as well. I'll say that because I think there is this value, like I said, of putting a little energy, effort towards it each day, but also recognizing that there are other things that are playing out in the meantime. And you're also playing with other ideas in terms of like not like things might not be so linear. And we've been seeing this in the collective a lot the last week, ever since our full moon in Libra, where like things aren't so set in stone. It's not A to B to C. You know, you might go to A to E to G, you know, to figure out what is exactly worth it for you. And so there's a lot of ambiguity. There's a lot of inability to see things clearly, or know exactly how things are going to fare. So I'm saying that specifically to be patient with yourself. Try not to put on too much stress, too much burden, because I think you have that stress in other areas. And that's why it's saying to keep it light. I love this B for that, because community, cooperation, sweetness. We all need sweetness. And in Ayurveda, the sweet taste or sweetness in general actually builds strength and cohesion. It enlivens the kapha dosha, which is our structure. It's our essentially the framework, whether that's our physiology, our mind, our soul, you know, even our life, right? Like we have to have a certain sturdy framework foundation in life in order to kind of like make it thrive. And I feel like, again, because there are some resisting factors, it's put up some confusion. Like I think this is part of also what you're working through this week, seeing things clearly, like not letting certain lies of the past inform how you do things in the future. But you're still in that mode of like figuring out exactly what that is. And that in and of itself can be a tricky process. There's a lot of like delicate energy is what I'll say. So I don't think like being too intense with yourself, especially in your health and wellness, is a good idea right now. If anything, it's continuing to urge you to go it slow, keep it sweet, keep it simple. That's going to be your recipe for success right now. Not like I got to do a billion things, and that's a little counterintuitive to Aries season, Aries energy, because it is that like, you know, no holds bar. I'm going to do as much as I can possibly do and then see my success. And yeah, we see fruits of that labor, but it's not always practical. Things don't always work out in the way that we want. And then we end up exhausting ourselves. And it's really hard to maintain your energy when you're in that space. But I feel like I see that you are not doing that. And it's essentially like if you feel that urge, the need to go that route, yes, get that out, but try not to stay in that energy too long. Ayurveda is all about the happy medium, right? Like, no matter where you're coming from, even if you feel like you're the most unhealthy person in the world, you don't want to go to the other extreme. It never works out. It's the pendulum, right? It's always going to come back. It's more about the bell curve, right? It's sorry, I see these little hands peering in. My son's trying to come in, but it's more about the bell curve, right? Slowly, gradually leading yourself into something. And then once you're getting there, like maintaining that consistency, right? Instead of the steep hill, the steep upward climb. Okay. So it looks like I don't know. I feel like you're still involved in something that's occupying a lot of your time, a lot of your energy. This might be a little bit of like you don't have to give it so much power, so much thought. You can actually pull yourself away from this a little bit more, and it will do you some good to do so, especially with this 4 of Wands energy, which is all about, again, this is like, I love the 4 of Wands because it's like, it's the marriage card in the original tarot, but it's essentially like when we start building a happy foundation, it is about celebration. It's about celebrating family and community, and it doesn't have to be blood. It can be the family that you create, right? Just so we're not triggering anyone if you have poor relations. It's this value of like taking your eye off the bullshit, essentially. 4 of Cups, it's the despondency, the people who are not really adding value. They're just keeping you stuck in this loop of sadness, disappointment, unmet expectation, etc. And plugging it more into the things that you can celebrate, the things in your life that do bring goodness. And I think that as you're doing that, that's kind of where you're strengthening self. Let's see. Ooh, let's see those. Okay. Yep. Okay. So we get Hierophant and, oh, yep. Well, oh yeah, because it's Chiron in this deck. That's why. Because our family is what helps us grow to be better versions of ourselves, to but there's, okay, so with the Knight of Pentacles, this is Taurus energy, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. It's earth energy. You could be dealing with an earth sign, or this just has very slow movement around it. People who are just not getting the message, and maybe this is even a thing where you've like told your therapist, your PT therapist, like, hey, if we could do it this way, or this works better for me, and they're just not even getting the message. They're not even listening. That's the kind of energy that you have surrounding you. So I can understand why you're in this space of like, let me try it this way, let me try it this way, let me try it this way, and it's just not landing. And that's where it feels a little bit like nothing's happening, nothing's moving. But again, if we tag back to this message of enlivening your community, connecting with people, maybe even people you miss, you haven't talked to in a while, wondering how they're doing, whatever, like, or meeting new people, bringing new energies into your life, going to something that, like a class or something that interests you, a bike group, cycling group, running group, book club, something that just like gets you around other people, a cooking class, whatever. Like that's the energy. That's what I'm picking up with this bee. And I feel like it's going to help with some of the instability. It's going to help with some of the resistance you're dealing with. It's also anytime we interact with new people or, do something new, it also opens up so much creative potential where it's like we're talking to someone and we get a new idea for something, or it's like, oh, something actually finally clicks and it gives us the inspiration, or it gives us that knowledge we needed to kind of move through whatever this resistance is for you. Because I do see like it going in a good I mean, you have a really good path laid out for you the rest of the week. Whatever you're doing, keep it up and running. I feel like that's been a message that's been coming through a lot for us as well. Yeah. I thought I had something else after that, but it didn't want to come out. Apparently, didn't want to come out. Okay, I like these. Are like just little inspirational messages. Calmness. The inner divine is a witness of all, remaining still and quiet, even during intense turbulence. So take a deep breath and then say, quiet my mind. May your peaceful calm take over. It's so true. And I think that's all about just setting intention. You can say a prayer, you can do something inspiring for yourself. You can just do some deep breathing, you can meditate. There's so many different ways that we can honor that calm within us. And modern day, I think it's super hard to do because there's so much overstimulation on so many different fronts. And it actually takes intention to take a step back, to quiet down, to do some deep breathing. Actually, it's like so good for our physiology. Doing deep breathing, it strengthens our respiratory muscles, it massages our abdominal organs, it maximizes blood flow. There's just like so many benefits, and we forget how nurturing those things can be. The other day, I was like in the worst mood. I don't even know why. Something just like I just was in a bad mood and I had a couple extra minutes. I decided to meditate and it was like amazing. It was just such an amazing reset, and my anger, my frustration, whatever I was like complaining about before completely washed away. And I'm not BSing you. Like I'm not just like, oh, this beautiful thing happened. It's not that. It's just the power of when we honor ourselves, when we honor our mind, our body, our soul. It can be transformative, right? It can be transformative. And sometimes, like I said, like I didn't even know what was bothering me. I just was like funky, And I usually like don't have those days. Like I'm usually like this for the most part. So it was a little bit annoying to say the least. But okay, forgiveness. Healing comes from acceptance. Help me to fully accept what is, knowing that all this alone will open me to the new 100%, right? Forgiving these past transgressions, people, situations, family, lovers, friends, people that have not treated you with what you deserved, with what you needed, with what could honor you, could support you, could help you thrive, could help everyone involved thrive, and instead, you know, choosing what they chose. And that's where forgiveness, it's a hard thing to do, but I always come back to that Buddha quote that like anger is like holding on to a hot coal with the intention to throw it at someone else, but you yourself get burned. And it's not easy to let go of our anger. I think meditation, pranayamic breathing, things that help our physiology realign are the key, because sometimes it's just so hard to not fixate on what people do. And that's part of what this energy is talking about, right? Like not letting the low vibey, the unhealthy, the toxic stuff steal your focus, steal your energy, steal your time. It's making the choice to disconnect, to disengage, to forgive, and then move towards your own peace and calm. Because all that's going to do is help continue to strengthen, help continue to heal, or give your physiology the strength, the endurance that it needs. And it's amazing. Like we discount it in Western culture, modern culture. It's amazing how much our attitude, our disposition really affects our health and well-being, you know? And I think we're like kind of uncovering that a little bit more modern day, but it's a thing. It all works together, mind, body, and soul. Okay, so giving yourself some direction, 100%. Please show me the right action right now. Please bring me a sign and a miracle that gives clear direction. May I hear the promptings of my own body. And if for some reason I'm about to head the wrong way, please stop me. I love this. Please bring a sign and a miracle. I think you deserve that. I feel like it's totally an amazing thing to do. Like I was saying in the very beginning, if you need that sign, if you need that miracle, if you need that confirmation that you are headed in the right direction, just ask spirit for it. You know, you can even be really detailed, like about how you want it to look. And, you know, a certain type of bird or a number sequence or, you know, whatever, some type of symbolism that's important to you. And spirit will deliver, right? Like a lot of times we just have to open those channels of communication. You don't have to be religious, you can be religious. Spirit manifests in so many different ways. It's not limited to religion or how godly or spiritual or whatever we are. Like, yeah. You know, those are good things, but it's more, well, and this is how Ayurveda looks at it. It's more about what it enlivens in us. It enlivens morality, integrity, life-giving things. Love is life-giving. It actually is shown in the physiology that it opens up the channels. Stress, anger, fear, it constricts, it reduces, it limits us. And think of how much we're under like stress modern day, like just it's insane. You know, but we do it, we figure out a way because we're amazing, right? Like our bodies, our mind, our soul is amazing. We have so much more potential that we can tap into, and that's what I love about Ayurveda. I love about this style of living is it is about maximum efficiency, minimum effort, right? Like you maximize in other ways, daily routine, honoring your body in all these different ways. And then you have all this extra reserve to go out and conquer and do what you want to do. And we have cellular memory no matter where you fall on health and well-being on that scale. Your body remembers who you are, and it is always trying, it's always fighting towards homeostasis, towards finding that balance within, wherever you're at, right? And that's so awesome. It's always working for you. Just remember that your body, your mind, your soul, it's always working for you. Even if there are infiltrations of the past or whatever that tend to be the louder voices, which they do, that's part of the healing, right? That's part of that Saturn, the karma, you know, breaking generational patterns, curses, however you understand it. And I feel like that's pretty powerful. You know, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying it. So it's amazing. Life is amazing. You are amazing. Thank you so much for your time, energy always. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear or just say, hey, share in a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. No, it blesses my heart. It's been a labor of love, that's for sure. And I just appreciate, especially if you made it this far in the reading, just know it really blesses my soul. And I'm sending love and blessings back to you. Have a fabulous Saturday. Happy weekend. I will be live tomorrow evening for our look into the weekly forecast. All right. Talk to you soon.